What's going on? You see, I got my new loading screen. I got my new loading screen for when I'm live. And remember, I always be usually spending the first 3 to 4 minutes of my live sending alerts and sending the link out to people and doing things of that nature. Go ahead, put this on Do Not Disturb so we don't get interrupted. I be doing stuff like that. Then I'm sitting here in front of the camera looking lost. So I've actually, and I always ask, can somebody help me figure out a better way to do all of this? And I found a way. I got this new loaded screen. Let's load it up one time for y'all that ain't see it. That might be new. Wow. You see what I'm saying? Very nice, very clean, very demure. So we're gonna be using that moving forward as a loading screen, as a gateway into the live session for our viewers. Okay, so thankful, so grateful. First, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life today. He woke me up today. He started me on my day. Today is a day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Always, always, always. So first things first, we're gonna get right into it. I've sent the link out. The link is out there. And as always, it's a live. After this live stream, it's a live stream. After this live stream, it'll be posted. So if people aren't here right now, they have ample opportunity to join. If you are here right now and you joined up, feel free to leave a comment so I know who's in here rocking with me, okay? But if you're here, I know you've seen the caption of this live. Being, we have opened up school today. Class is in session, and we're going to be doing chart work on SPY and Bitcoin, looking at the crypto market and the stock market. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to get to that part, okay? We'll get to that meat of it. But today is a special live because today we've opened up a school, and I'm super excited to go through the functionality of school and what we're going to be learning there. And of course, it's free because I don't feel led to charge people that I want to invest. I would rather you not invest into me, you invest into yourself. You go buy your own assets. You don't need to buy the knowledge. You need to buy the assets once you have the knowledge. So the school for TraderBoyz is going to be the gateway to the knowledge. Okay? So I'm super excited. I'm super thankful. Love the idea. Good afternoon. I'm here. I see y'all here. Let's go over to streaming mode so I can see those comments on my screen. Okay, God is so good. I'm excited to be here. And for those late joiners, we'll see them when they get on board. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the school. It's so excited. I'm so excited. This was a vision that I received from the Lord. It was placed on me through one of my brothers. And, he introduced me to what a school was. And at first, I didn't really like the idea of it. Then I prayed on it. And I asked the Lord about all of this, and it just started making more and more sense. I started growing conviction for it in a way to bring people to one platform to truly learn and truly gain that idea. So we won't too much touch on this. We're going to just go ahead and do a brief overview of what content's going to be in the school, why I decided to even start the school, and what is kind of the long-term vision for the school, more like a mission statement for the school. So we'll look at a couple of the classrooms just to get into that order of the school. But yeah, without further ado, as you see, we have the school loaded up right here, man. I'm so excited. I'm really so excited right now. This is something that's been being built for a while now, and I've been trying to hold this secret as long as I can, and I'm not good with secrets. But here we are. So all that time is now paying off right here. So it's good to see the fruition of seeds being planted. Okay. So as you see, we got this is our community right here, TraderBoyz, and let's go to about. So see, we go to about, and we got a video right here. I do want to play the video, but I don't want to play the video because YouTube this is exciting. It is. I do want to play the video, but I'm not going to because YouTube be copyrighting sometimes. So I don't want to get the live stream taken down off of copyrights. So if you are intrigued in what the video is and you are not in school yet, or you're already in the school, go ahead and make sure when you in the school, you go to about and you'll see this first video here. Click that video, okay? So we're just going to continue without looking at the video because like I said, I don't want to get copyrighted on YouTube and the live ends. That would be tragic. So you see, this is kind of our mission statement, and I made this a post a while back on Instagram, kind of just explaining to people what TraderBoyz is and the foundation of it. We're rooted in Christ, okay? TraderBoyz was created to simplify markets, teach real investing principles, and help everyday people build with purpose, not hype. Facts. A lot of people get into these markets and they think these communities and these groups that they pay for is just signal groups for them to get into trades and make money. But where is the Lord in any of that, right? TraderBoyz started learning the markets, building discipline, and laying the foundation. This right here, this was like in the, I don't remember when in 2024, probably like maybe early 2024, mid 2024. I had an artist named Kim. She's actually from Vegas, just like me as well. So this was like some homegrown art work. I told her the vision I had, and she hooked this up and she drew this out. And the vision that I had at this time was, teaching people about investing. So I wanted to get two people shaking hands, like, we're on the same page. And you see, we got the charts in the background. We got TraderBoyz down low. This was the very first, we could call this image of TraderBoyz, okay? This was the very first logo, quote unquote, for TraderBoyz, okay? So this was definitely where we came from. And also, Kim drew this as well, but this is an animated version of it. But she drew this out. This is her drawing right here as well. So shout out to her. Refining the mission. 2025 was about clarity, sharpening the message, strengthening discipline, and building structure from the vision. Okay, so we had this slight vision in 2024, but I didn't know how to execute it. I ended up actually turning 2025. I started doing streams. I started doing content, but it was more focused on, me and my boys playing the game, doing things of that nature, not necessarily the vision it is now, okay? It just turned into what it turned into. We have flag football. I would stream flag football, which I plan on doing, this flag football season, but we're going to not do that on YouTube to get that, crossed over. We're going to actually be doing that on Twitch, but that's going to be a later time, a later date where we get to talking about that sort of stuff, okay? But yeah, I was just streaming games and doing things of that, not necessarily grounded in the Lord and not necessarily the vision that was had for TraderBoyz as a brand, okay? But towards the end of 2025, things started coming into fruition. So 2025 was a bridge year from the old vision to what it turned into at the start of the year to what it became, okay? And 2026 is about execution, expanding the vision, applying what was learned, and building something that lasts. Now, 2024, since TraderBoyz was established in 2024, isn't when I started investing. I actually became into the investment world in the early ends of this decade. So around 2022, my friend Joe, shout out Joe, Joe's doing very big things. A shout out to him. He actually introduced me into investing because he started investing when we were still in high school. And he would tell us, like, yo, buy ETF. Like, what are y'all doing? You guys are goofballs. Buy ETF, buy ETF. I'm like, bro, I don't know what none of that means. One time I went back home to Vegas and we were at Lolo's Chicken and Waffles. For all my Vegas people, y'all might know, but like, it ain't Roscoe's, but it's Lolo's. We got Lolo's. Y'all got Roscoe's in Cali, all right? Let us have what we got, okay? We ain't got Roscoe's. So we was at Lolo's and we was talking about investing literally at the brunch table and talking about it. And then, I was telling him, like, yo, I got this retirement account on my job. It's not a 401k. It's a simple IRA that I still use today. And I was like, yo, bro, like, all right, what's this? I showed it up to him. I already had about $1,000 in there at the time because money from my checks will go in there. But it wasn't investing in nothing. It was just sitting in buying power because I didn't know nothing about investing. This was back in like 2022. And they're like, yo, you already got capital in here. Your money's not doing nothing. Let's go buy some ETFs. So he introduced me to to VTI, pretty much all of Vanguard ETFs. And that was when I jumped into the realm of investing, okay? And then it was like, that's why, like, when I teach people and when I try to get people to understand, I don't want to get your money. I want you to invest your money because you have to see it go up. You have to see it go down to understand what's going on. I seen it come down. I was like, yo, Joe, what the heck? What's going on here? What the heck? And then I seen it go up, and I was like, oh, this is investing, because I ain't touch it, I ain't sell it. Okay, so I was excited to see that happen. I was excited to see the transformation. And that's the excitement that I want other people to feel, other people to grow as we get into this generational wealth. Fast forward a couple years to 2024, when I created TraderBoyz, that's when I started trading stocks, okay? So I grew out of ETFs and individual stocks. I started getting into trading. And, 2023, I got the idea of it. I might have hit it a couple times, and then I lost a lot more times because I didn't know what was truly going on, okay? I was lost. I was kind of guessing. I didn't have any structure. 2024, I had my biggest trade ever, in 2024 of probably like a good 3K trade, but I lost that all plus more the very next day. And I could remember that incremental pivot point in my life where it felt like, okay, I just blew my account. I was doing good one day and I was doing great. I did terrible the next day. And it was because I got lucky on a Tesla call one day. So I thought I'd get lucky the next day as well. And I didn't. I had no structure. I had no Jesus. I had nothing playing in my favor other than guessing and gambling. And at that point, I was lost. At that point, I didn't know what to do. So I went back to the drawing board. And that's where I started learning more and more and more and more about investing. This was the earlier half of 2024. By the later half of 2024, I was understanding it. I also got introduced into crypto at this time as well. And then I've been doing research from then on. And that's when I decided to make TraderBoyz, because I'm like, it's hard for me to do this by myself. I need people I could lean on. TraderBoyz doesn't come from trader only boys can join. That's not what it is. And I always struggled with that concept of this being the identity name, even though the initials right here, like TraderBoyz, TB, is my initials as well. So that's something that always kept me confident in it. But I always struggle with, I don't want ladies to look at our brand and think they are not welcome. TraderBoyz comes from because when Joe was telling me about this, me and my friend Andre, it was us three. Okay, now I was the first one to bring this up. I was like, hey, this is the brand that I'm thinking of. It was us three. We were the boys. We've been boys since high school. Like, we've always been boys. And we were also getting into investing. Joe got us into investing, into trading. TraderBoyz. And at that time, I made this thinking of just us three. But I was like, I need to lean on people in my journey. If I didn't have a Joe early in my journey to come back to that's been through the ups and downs, I would have never got back into investing. I would have just blew an account and never wanted to get back into it. But I had a Joe. Okay, now people that join this could have a Trey. You could have an Andre. You could have a coach, Chris Sane. That's someone I came across in 2024 that picked me up too out the darkness of blowing my account. His leadership on YouTube also inspired me to turn TraderBoyz into content, into inspiring others, into teaching the game. So it turned into all of that through my trial and error. Okay, and like it might seem like that was only 2 years ago. Let me tell you, a lot changes in 2 years. A lot changes in a year. A lot changes in 6 months. A lot changes in 3 months. So overall, it's been a 2-year journey of TraderBoyz. It's been a 4-year journey for investing for myself. And I have a lifetime to go. I plan on never stopping investing. I plan on never helping other people learn investing, because one thing that I learned in this road of investing is people are not accessible to the knowledge of investing. You get what I'm saying? So people are not accessible to the knowledge. For us as black people, when the Wall Street was created, we were slaves. Okay? Yeah, slavery. So Wall Street was invented in, I want to say 1791. I could be misspeaking, but I know it was under George Washington. That's when Wall Street was created in the stock market, 1791. Yeah, slavery was abolished in the 1870s under Abraham Lincoln. So yeah, we were already about almost close to 100 years into slavery by the time the stock market was born. But once slavery ended, does not mean we became normal societal pieces, okay? Civil rights didn't happen until the 1960s. So we're about 100 and plus years, closer to 200 years behind on investing. Okay, the first black person didn't make a trade on Wall Street until like the 80s, the 90s. Wall Street was created in the 90s of the 1700s. So it's like we're already behind. So that's a good generational gap right there. And that's no one's fault. I'm not shaming one race. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not getting political. I'm stating facts from my lenses, okay? And the way that I see it is that there are a lot of people in the world that has this misconception on investing. Not even just African American people, Americans as a whole. So I mean my African Americans, I mean my Mexican Americans, I mean my Caucasians, I mean my Asian Americans. Anybody in America has this wrong conception on investing because it's not taught to us. You learn this by trial and error. Why do we learn it by trial and error? Because they don't teach it in schools. You know what I mean? So the only way you learn it is if you get introduced to it and you're like, okay, let me go ahead and try this. And then my 2024 breaking point, most people would never ever recover from that. So that's that generational curse right there. One person in the family got into investing, got burnt because they didn't understand the true system of it, and now no one after them in their lineage learned investing. And we need investing in order to break the system that is being taught to us, break the financial disability, that wealth gap between us and them. And it's not a race, it's not a demographic, it's knowledge. Us who don't understand compared to them who understand. We are all one people. We are all humans. We don't matter about race. The stock market, the crypto markets don't see color. It don't ask your ethnicity. It's money to be made. It's people that understand it and it's people that don't. That's the only difference. So me, as a person that didn't understand it, as a person that understands it, and as a person that has reaped benefits from understanding it now and lost from not understanding, I realized that I need to be the bridge. I need to be that person that helps people understand. Sort of like Charles Merrill, when I was doing my research on the stock market, he was one person that was a titan on Wall Street, like John Pierre Point Morgan, J.P. Morgan, the Chase, okay? You know, John D. Rockefeller. He was a pioneer, but he branched out, and instead of being a titan, he became a steward. He decided to teach people. His brand was built off people that you don't have to have no experience, because I will teach you. I will show you. We need more people to invest, okay? And that's someone that I would rather be like in this market, of course, as I look in the market, as opposed to these billionaires. Good night. What up, my boy? Shaq, what up, man? You know, so that is how this whole brand came into a thing. And now here we are, you know, 2026, we got a school, you know, I'm profitable in trading. I understand the markets. I'm trying to help other people do the same. This isn't for my own gain. Hint, free. I don't need anything out of this, okay? My one goal is for you to understand the power, the opportunity in investing, especially now. Especially now. This is golden time because of crypto market. Crypto market is so low, it's so new. You know, imagine being around when the stock market first came around and you were one of the first people to put your money in, you know, and then it became a normality. That's where we are at with the crypto market. We're fighting regulation. News is scaring people. But the fact of the matter is, crypto is the future of finance. Digital assets is the future of finance. Digital, everything will be on chain. So with us knowing this, and if you don't know this, with me helping you get to know this, we can align our assets to match this future so that we don't miss out on that wealth transfer. All right. And that's pretty much what this school is all about, okay? TraderBoyz is a community for people who want to build long-term wealth through faith, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, hallelujah. Discipline and real market understanding, not hype, not hype, not hype. Meaning, I'm not going to come and tell you that this coin is going to blow up overnight or this stock's going to blow up overnight. Put your money here. I'm not a signal group. That is not how my gift is being led. My gift is being led to be a steward of long term through conviction and through faith and through research, through actual facts, through actual research, okay? And we just dropped this school 3 p.m. today. It's 5 p.m. We're up to 15 members. So if you're new, just go ahead and join up. Let's keep rolling it in. I don't care how many people join. I just want to inspire. If I can only inspire 15 people to invest, and when crypto pops off, these 15 lives are changed, then glory be to God. Okay, if I inspire 15,000 people, glory be to God. The glory does never leave away from God, no matter how many people it is. It's not for me, it's for him. We focus on clarity over noise, conviction over emotion, and preparation for the future of finance. An emphasis on the future of finance because we're going to talk a lot about crypto here. Okay, we're going to talk a lot about crypto, but we will also be talking about the stock market as well because they correlate. They're both different ways to invest your money, to have assets, to have ownership. This is not a signal group. This is not a get rich quick. It's for those who want to learn, grow, and position for what's next. Basically what I just said. I'm not going to tell you to put all your money in this one coin because it's going to turn you into a millionaire by Sunday. That's not me. I don't do that, okay? That is not who I am. That is not what you will find here as TraderBoyz. That is not this brand. Okay, this brand is for those who want to learn, grow, and position for what's next. Okay, that's what this is for. Inside TraderBoyz, this is what we're going to focus on, and we'll touch on some of this stuff right now. Okay, but we're going to be talking about market structures, stocks and crypto, long-term investing frameworks, understanding macro trends and the future of finance. Again, heavy implication on the future of finance. Mindset, discipline, and patience. Asking better questions before making decisions. Meeting other like-minded individuals. That is my biggest prayer for this group, is that everyone comes in here and could be inspired, because we're all like-minded. We all want to grow with the Lord. And for those that may join, that may not, I pray that they get inspired by someone in here that is growing with the Lord, okay? That they get inspired to want to invest and make an impact with their financial situation, okay? Because that's what it's all about. All right, that's what it's all about. And asking better questions before making decisions, meaning what I want people to not only see something exciting, like everyone's talking about this, I'm gonna buy. That's not enough. What are better questions? Better questions is like, what do I look at when I'm about to invest into a stock? That's perfect. We look at earning reports. We look at the CEO. We look at foundation. Okay, these are things we want to look at. When I look at a crypto, how do I know I want to invest? We look at utility. We look at purpose. What is it fixing? Who does it serve? That's what we're looking at, okay? Those are proper questions that I want people to ask before just buying, just because someone on TikTok said this is going to go up overnight, or someone on Instagram's hyping this up because it's going to go up overnight. No, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a long uphill battle, all right? So let's go ahead real fast over into the classrooms. We're going to do a brief breakdown of these classrooms. So these are classrooms that I already have out, okay? And you see, they're going to have different things in each classroom, okay? And on here on the Skool, it's going to be more like you unlock stuff, okay? So automatically, once you join, you'll have these first two off the rip, and then you'll unlock these three, and then you'll unlock the next two, okay? And the reason why we do that is just to increase engagement, so people comment and like and is active and is learning, okay? I don't want people to just pull up and then not read anything and not learn, because that defeats the purpose. I don't need people joining up just to make my numbers look good. Again, I don't care about statistics, about any of this analytics, none of that hype. It's impact. I want to help others. I want to serve others. I want to be led by the Spirit to serve others. And that's what it comes down to. So I want people to be engaged. I want people to understand what's going on. So we're going to have a whole bunch of different channels, and we got to start with faith, purpose, and identity when it comes to it, because God comes first. Before money, before markets, before success, faith comes first. And I want everyone to join TraderBoyz and make sure they're established in the Lord. Established, because, when money's involved, man, it gets tough. I'm going to just say it gets tough, The more money you get, the tougher it gets. It's easier to become, big-headed, or as the Bible says in Corinthians, it's easy to become puffed up. You know what I mean? It's easy to get puffed up and get conceited and feel like the man and forget that everything you received was a gift. You ain't get it on your own will. It was a gift from the Lord. It's easy once you obtain money. It's easy once you start seeing a comment in your bank account. Trust me. When you got a couple portfolios with a comma in it, no matter how many it is, you see one comma, it's easy to be like feeling yourself. It's easy to get ungrounded in the Lord. So we have to establish that faith, that purpose, and that identity before anything else occurs. And that's what this first page is about. It's about the identity before income. Your worth is not your bank account. It's not the commas you see. It is who you are in God. It is who God says you are. It is the gifts God gave you, because you are chosen, you are called, you are capable, you are created with a purpose. Before you build wealth, you must build identity in Christ. Every person on earth has the Holy Spirit in them. They all have it. We all have it. I have it. You have it. We all have spiritual gifts. But if you don't have an identity in Christ, you will never get the revelation. There's no revelation of your gifts without relationship with the Lord. So you must build that foundation in order to receive your gifts, okay? Purpose over profit. Money is not the main goal. The purpose is, okay? When you get into investing, it's going to show you who you are. I say it all the time. This ain't no game for the glitter and the fun, okay? Because one wrong move can mess you up. And that's why we here to lean on each other and to learn from experience, okay? And purpose is the foundation of it. If you realize your purpose is for the future, then you'll be more long-term minded, because we have to be rooted in long-term success in these markets, okay? When your heart is aligned with God, your work becomes meaningful. And then I put the Matthew 6:33 because I definitely needed this. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added to you. All things will be added to you. Not some things, not a couple things, not a few things. All things will be added to you. That's deep. It's real deep, and it's true. So we got to seek first God and his righteousness. Not just God, not just building a relationship with God and saying, I read my Bible, I pray, I do this, I do that. No, righteousness, living it. Not fornicating, not partying, not drinking, not smoking, living in righteousness, which is hard, I know, trust me, because it's uncommon. Once you become uncommon, you start getting different eyes. People looking at you like this. Like they get to looking at you a little different because you're uncommon now. You're one of God's children. Your name is written in the Lamb's book, okay? So now you're one of those. What do we say, Genny? Amen. I am one of those. I'm one of those. I'm uncommon. I'm righteous. So once you get to that point, all things will be added to you. So that falls under to investing. Once you're rooted in the Lord, once you're living in righteousness, once you're seeking him, all things will be added to you in this realm. So when we say all things, it's not just money, not just money, not just money, not just money. Let me clarify. Not just money, knowledge, the understanding, all of that stuff will be added to you. The proper assets, the Lord will place it on you that this is a good asset, this isn't good. Build that relationship. Trust that relationship. It works miracles. It moves mountains. It changes lives. I am one. It changes lives. You're looking at one life changed. No cap. We build so we can serve others, help our families, give freely, leave a legacy. Okay? So let's always keep these stuff in mind. Let's always keep this stuff in mind. Because God is so good. And then it's just continue going on. Stewardship, God's resources, not ours. Everything we have comes from God. This is what I was just talking about when we were talking about in Corinthians when Paul brought this up. Why do we judge others as if we're better than people? As if the Lord doesn't have the final say so? Why do we do those sorts of things? As if we are boastful, we are prideful. Like every gift we have has not come from God. We have to keep that in mind. So even when you start seeing commas in the bank account, as we were just talking about, when your increase starts happening in this market, in this realm of investing, remember, everything has come from God. Because I'm trying to tell you, I've been there, I've struggled with it, I've overcoming it. Let's not speak in past tense. I'm overcoming it because every day is a new battle tested, okay? Every day is a new battle tested. But it's so easy to be consumed in what you've received and forget that it was received, okay? So it's important. Stewardship means managing wisely, giving generously, living humbly, investing responsibly. We honor God by how we handle what he entrusted to us. We honor God by how we handle what he's entrusted to us. So if you get into the markets and you don't know nothing today, but 3 years from now, you're up $1 million, how are you going to handle what he's entrusted you with? That's how we honor God. Are you a steward of the money? Are you bringing people back? Because a lot of people think money is the root to all evil, which it is. But a lot of people think money is bad to have. Like, all rich people are corrupt. All rich people have this. All rich people are against us. Don't be rich. Don't be rich. No, that is not it at all. I could tell you where a lot of these rich people go wrong that we see. They don't got the Lord. And if they had the Lord when they were down low, they forgot the Lord. So that's why they seem corrupt to you, because you see the bad fruits they're bearing. They're a bad tree. If a tree is bad from the root, it can't bear no good fruits. Okay? So if they turn from God once they obtain riches, it don't matter how much money they have now. It's a bad tree. So we see a lot of bad trees that have money because they lose God. They lose that idea of this was a gift received to me to steward for his kingdom. And once that idea is lost, then we start seeing people doing these things and we're like, I couldn't even be rich because yada 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 does this or yada 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 does that. Okay? But stay grounded in the Lord. Breaking generational curses. This is my biggest one, as I was just talking about the history of the stock market. Many families were never taught how to invest, how to save, how to build ownership. Not because they failed, but because the system never showed them. You right there, watching this video on this live, I'm looking at you, are the turning point. You are learning what others had no access to. Your ceiling becomes your family's new floor. Ooh, hallelujah. I claim it. Your ceiling becomes your family's new floor, meaning your resistance becomes your family's support. This is stock lingo. So this is some gems that we talk later on down in these other classrooms, but you getting a quick lesson right now. Your resistance becomes your family floor, meaning when you break through the top, okay? When you break through this line right here, this is resistance. Once you break through, this is now support. So your lowest, okay, your lowest ain't no low no more. And your highest of the highs become your future family's low. We get what we saying now? Okay. That's exactly what this means. Breaking generational curses. A lot of our family was never taught none of this stuff. We've already went over the history of how we were already slaves in that time, and Wall Street was only being consumed by the banks, by the rich. Why did the banks have all the power? Let me tell you. Because the banks have all our money. They got our money, so they use our money. Most people be like, I don't want to invest. It ain't safe. I can't do it. The bank gonna invest your money because you keeping it in there anyways. So your money gonna get invested either way. It's either you do it for yourself or the bank does it for them. Okay, so it's like people aren't taught this, because why aren't we being taught this? Imagine everyone knew investing, understand the idea of investing. The problem then would be, who are the rich going to be targeting from their lack of understanding? The rich gets richer off of lack of understanding. I'm going to say it one more time. The rich gets richer off of our lack of understanding. Meaning, when we aren't taught, when we go from K through 12 not learning about investing, and then we become 18 to 22 and we try investing and we give our money into the markets, but we don't understand, they're ready to capitalize off all of those people that don't know about investing. They're ready to capitalize off you. When you become 30 and 40 and you're like, okay, let me finally invest, and you see your account goes down because you investing on the dip, but you don't understand that's when you're supposed to be buying, but you see money going down. They feed off of that. If they teach this stuff, there will be no more feeding off of all of that. There will be no more misunderstanding to capitalize off of. That's why it's never taught. That's why it's quote unquote gate kept. That's why it's always reverse psychology. The news gonna push these agendas on you and tell you what you shouldn't do because this is down. But I guarantee you, guess what that same person sitting on that panel is doing? Buying the dip. Like, they understand. They're not the misunderstood. They understand. They know what it is. They've been doing news for 20 years. Meaning they saw the dot-com bubble in the early 2000s. They seen the recession. They seen pandemic. It's all rinse and repeat. A news cycle comes through, tanks prices. Fearmonger from the news. Get out the market, sell. Smart money, waiting for price to come down. Nice, let me load up. Guess what the same people telling you on the news doing? Nice, let me buy. But they won't tell you that. They'll only get up on that panel and tell you the bad. Okay? That's why TraderBoyz was created yet again. The faith in waiting. Let's go down to another one. Faith in waiting. Sometimes growth is slow. Sometimes answers take time, but God is working even when you can't see it. Trust the process, stay obedient, keep walking. And a lot of this stuff that's in here, okay, is coming from me. It's coming for me. It's coming from the Spirit, because I need this too as we read this. It's slow. It takes time. We can't see it. That's faith. Believing in something you can't see. Blessed are those that believe, that have not seen. Thomas believed because he saw. Blessed are those who have belief but have not seen. That's us. We weren't alive in biblical times. So anyone that believes, you have faith. It takes time. The growth is slow. But you got to trust the process, stay obedient, and keep walking. Leading with light. As you grow, others will watch. Your life becomes the testimony. Your discipline becomes the example. Your faith becomes the light. Just as I was just talking about, when you uncommon, people start giving you that eye. Remember that eye I was talking about like this? They start doing a little side eye because you uncommon. Other people will watch you grow as an uncommon in this world. Okay, they're gonna watch you grow. They're gonna watch you reach new heights. They're gonna watch you fall. But when you fall, no one's there to pick you up. Okay, I'm gonna watch these things. Your life becomes a testimony. So people know who I was. People know who I was. People know that version of me, a lit Trey. You know, some people miss that version. Some people want that to come back. Some people want me to go party, but I can't do so because it's not what I'm called to do anymore. My life is a testimony. I'm a living testimony. Okay, my flesh is not what leads me anymore. It's my spirit. It's my discernment. It's my gifts. It's my light. My faith in Jesus is my light. I'm the light now. So I have to make sure that, you know, I'm living righteous. I can't talk about these things and still be doing what I want of the world. I can't do that. I'm held to a higher standard now. And I have to understand that. And, you know, everyone gets to that point. You know, I'm not telling you to look in the mirror and be like, oh, I got to stop. You know, no, everyone has, God brings people through their own situations. That's just where I am personally in my walk. Okay. But you are called to more. Okay. You are called to more. I am telling you that. You are not here by accident. You were created to build, lead, serve, impact. God placed you in this season for a reason. So a lot of people that's in TraderBoyz, you're not there for no reason. Some people might even join up just as a favor to me because I'm their boy. So some people might just join up, but it's not about that. So that's why I'm telling people, like, you know, this isn't, you join is not for me. It's for you. I want you to learn more. I want you to gain knowledge. I want you to capitalize on the future because there's enough money in there for everyone to help and impact their families and be able to be a good steward of the Lord. Okay, God placed you in this season for a reason. Our declaration, we choose faith over fear, purpose over profit, discipline over distraction, legacy over lifestyle. We build for God, we walk with integrity, we move with patience. This is bigger than money. This is destiny. Okay, this is bigger than money. This is destiny. At the end of investing, coach say it all the time. All right, and if you don't know who Coach is, I recommend you go to YouTube and you subscribe to Chris Saying because that's a W man's right there. Breaks down the market perfect. He always says that investing is the greatest vehicle to generational wealth, to financial freedom. Okay, and what that means is if generational wealth and financial freedom is at the end of the street, super far out, you're so far out you can see the road going on forever. It's so long. It's 15,000 miles. It's so far away, right? You might want to hop in. You might want to walk. Okay? Walking ain't going to get you there. Okay? You might want to drive. Driving might take so long. Then if you want to drive a Tesla, if you want to drive a Porsche, now you're taking money that could have been going to build that generational wealth, and now you're driving a $70,000 car to it. You get what I'm saying? Those things ain't gonna get you there. All right? But investing is the greatest vehicle. Meaning, if you hop in the car that's called investing, you could get there much faster. Okay? Now, this don't mean you're gonna get there tomorrow or in a week or in a year. You might get there in 3 years. You might get there in 4 years. But you'll get there faster than any other route. Right? If you go to college and you get a great job and you can obtain generational wealth there, you still got to do years and years of college as well. Think about all those years. Any lawyer that's a high-class lawyer, think about all the years they put in. My sis Tiara is going through the bar exam right now. Everyone send a prayer up to her as well so that she passes that in the name of the Lord. But that's years of college. You go through your 4 years to get your bachelor's as an undergrad. Then you go get your master's. Then you got to pass the bar. That is years on the cycle. To get to the generational wealth, I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm saying any vehicle to get there takes time. Invest is the fastest time, though. And then, this is where the game changer comes in. When you add the Lord, anything could happen then, because then it could turn into a year. Now you could hop in that vehicle, and you could do it in a year. Okay, you could do it in 6 months. You could do it in a day. Now, I'm not saying that you gonna get a day, you gonna believe in God, he gonna bless you in a day, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying with the Lord, it's mysterious. I'm not the Lord. I'm just a vessel. So whatever he has planned for everybody else is different. We all have a plan, but it's different. But hopping in the investing vehicle is the fastest way, the fastest vehicle to generational wealth, right? So that's why it's so important that we teach this, that we share this, and that we keep people grounded in the Lord. Because not only is investing the fastest vehicle, but when you got God back there pushing it, you're talking about a 15,000-mile drive that God might not even, he might stop pushing it. He's just going to pick you up, walk you there, and throw you right there in your investing vehicle, okay? Because you grounded, because the investing builds so much character, man. It builds so much character. It build you if you grounded in the Lord while you investing, the things you have to learn in the character wise, it's so hard to learn by yourself. But when you got the Lord, you can lean on it. And guess what? It aligns with righteousness. So it's almost like a double. It's like a double entendre. You know, the same two things got the same meaning. Like you learn these traits in investing. And then you start reading up on the word and you learn what righteousness is in the Lord. And you realize, like, dang, these correlate. These correlate. The things that investing teaches me, the Lord teaches me and wants me to be a steward of this way. Okay, and that's why, like me, like I came across investing and then I started giving that revelation, and it was like, man, I have to use my spiritual gifts to help people understand not only the Lord but also investing, because I see the need that needs to be fixed with investing. Okay, I see the gap there. And then we have so many different other channels, man, and it's going to be so great. I just went over faith, purpose, and identity with y'all today on this live. We got the financial system exposed. We got welcome to TraderBoyz. So this is kind of, just a quick one. Welcome to TraderBoyz, how to navigate through the community. And then an important disclaimer, because TraderBoyz is a faith-led community. Nothing shared here is financial advice. We do not force signals. This is just protection of the brand, okay? We do not force signals. We do not tell you what to do. We're just introducing you to the idea of investing. There's always got to have a disclaimer on there. Market fundamentals. This is where you'll learn, just the fundamentals of the market, okay? Just the basics, market basics. And then the financial system exposed. We talk about the banks. We talk about what crypto's here to fix. Then crypto in the future. And this is one of our heavy hitters right here. Remember, I told you we're going to talk a lot about crypto, but I don't want to keep it super long. I want to keep it brief right there. So, like, you got a couple ones that's going to be a little longer, and we got to go into detail with. But if you pull your notebook out and you learn, I'm bringing all the resources to you. Instead of you having to go out and go on Google, instead of you having to go out and ask ChatGPT this, instead of you having to go out and hope someone's telling you this right or telling you this wrong, I bought it all here for you. So we got crypto in the future. We got the investing playbook right here, the 2 lanes of investing. And pick what to buy zones, how much should I invest, risk and safety, when to add more, controlling emotions, your first portfolio. Okay, a lot of good things on here. Risk, discipline, and psychology, okay? And this is my favorite one right here, because this is where it comes in. Like, you realize that investing ain't about the money. It's about the discipline and the understanding. It's hard, but it's worth it in the end, okay? It's worth it in the end. And then, of course, like, this isn't just going to be the only classes. As members start getting through some of these courses and we can all get to one page, then I'll start making new courses. I already have a couple already planned out that I'm going to be dropping once we get people on board. But these just are the basics right here. This is just the start. I plan on eventually maybe even going live on here, because there's a feature for me to go live on here. You see, on my calendar, I put that we had the live here for YouTube, and I'll be adding those Sunday lives for YouTube to redirect people from the chat to here. But I'm also planning on having another day out the week, not Sundays, because I'm going to still show love to the YouTube, of course, and my Sunday lives, and we look at our chart work. But I'm going to be doing, like, actual study sessions on this school, and we're going to go over one class a day. So, like, how we just broke down faith, purpose, and identity right here on this live, this was basically a class session that we would have on the school. Okay, that's something that we planning on breaking down the road, and that's not even announced yet, but to my few viewers here and to the people that can make it to this part of the video, you can find that quick gem. Now, that's something that we're looking to head for in the future, okay? So there's plenty of good things that's coming out this year on school, and we have some more stuff dropping outside of school later this year in quarter 2 of this year, quarter 3, quarter 4. It's going to be such a dynamic, year for TraderBoyz, just all operating under the Lord, and I'm super thankful. I'm super grateful. All glory to God, because this was not me. I had no idea that the vision could take off to what it is today, but God. Those 2 words, but God. He's got his butt in the way, but God, okay? And once God gets involved, it changes everything. So, that is Skool. I have the link for the Skool into the description. The link is also on my Instagram. It's also everywhere. So, anytime you try to find TraderBoyz, you should be able to find this link. It won't be too far off, okay? And then, let me not go to the members. I don't want to expose anybody that don't want to be seen. But, yes. And then we have this is our welcome post. So I'm just super thankful. If you're seeing this, Know that the biggest thing I want you to know is that no, I'm coming from a good place. No, I'm not trying to take advantage of you. Know these things. Know that I am actually a person who wants to see you win, wants to see you change the course of your family's future. I don't want to capitalize off you. I don't want to charge you thousands of dollars to enter and then basically be getting rich off of me selling the knowledge. I don't want to do that. I want you to understand the knowledge. I want you to grasp it. I want you to do these things to get to where you want to get. All right, because that's all it comes down to at the end of the day. It comes down to those sorts of things. It comes down to having somebody that'll look out for you, right? And then eventually, maybe one day you become someone that could look out for people in the markets. Like, yo, don't worry about the dip. I've been there. Like, buy some more. Just that simple thing right there changes everything. Someone hearing that from a trusted voice, it gives you more confidence. Like, okay, I see my account down $100, but I won't sell, because you only technically lose the money once you lock in the profits. Uh-oh, we up to 17 members. Shout out to everybody joining up. But once you lose the money, it's only when you sell. So if you're down $100 and you still hold, you could still come back up to $300. But if you down $100 and you panic, you lost. The money's gone. Your money's in the market because you panicked out. If you have conviction over what you're buying and you have true meaning and purpose and you know what it aligns with, you won't have to go down that journey, okay? But that's neither here nor there. So I'm super thankful for the Skool. I'm super thankful for everything that's going on with that. We're going to actually jump into these charts, and we're going to actually erase all of this because I need to get my charts clean for the week. All right. This is previous week charts, previous trading day. All right. And honestly, I'm going to be very transparent here on the live. This week was still a good week, still profitable week for me. But the last day of the week, I was battle tested. I got battle tested. Okay, I got caught slipping with my guard down. I originally went into a trade, lost $34, and then I decided to. And I don't like to talk about money, okay, because I don't want people to only get involved with the money. But I don't mind talking about losses because I want to be transparent. Okay, I lost $34 on my first trade, which isn't a big loss. That was actually a good loss. But the problem was I scaled out up, and then I held some contracts, and I got out. I was down 34. I got angry. And this is how fast it happens. All my practice went out the window in my next trade. I started revenge trading, which happens. You know what I mean? It's poor. It's sad, but it is what it is. Started revenge trading, boom, lost 340 that day. Now, 340 may sound, I don't know how it sounds to people. 340 to me is a big deal because I don't want to lose nada. Okay, the 34 was cool. That's a perfect risk management loss. I'm like, all right, cool. You can't win them all anyways. Like, if I sat up here and told you every day I'll win, I'd lie. I'd be lying straight to your face. Now, I lost Friday. I was in red on Friday, and I only was in red one other day that week. And it's 5 trading days. So I still had a good 60% day, 60% week. But, when I look at it, I'm so mad because the way I lost was revenge trading. I was mad that I lost that $34 on a play that I should have made more. I felt like I should have made more. And then I got back in trying to chase. My system went out the window, and that's how fast it happens. The devil will creep right up on you. So I ended up losing about 340 that day, and we chalk that down as a loss, and we get back to the drawing board and we document those losses, and then we learn from that. And guess what? Monday is President's Day, so there's no trading. But Tuesday I'll be coming back stronger as ever, and I'll be disciplined, and I'll learn from that. Usually when I have like a big loss like that, which that's not even the biggest loss I've had. I told you I already lost thousands on a trade before, but that's not the biggest losses I have. Normally when I have a loss of that sort of magnitude, not of the money, but of how it happened, like me being impatient, me revenge trading, I usually learn from that, and I usually come back, and I'm usually like on my toes about my system. I'm like, all right, if I don't see retest, I'm not getting in, Lord. If I don't feel no conviction, I'm sitting out. So it's going to be interesting to see how we bounce back from all of that. But, we still profitable in long-term view. We still profitable on a year, and we still profitable on a month. So it's all glory be to God on that, because you see how fast the devil could work against you, and you see how fast things could play out of your favor. But that's why risk management, so you don't blow your account. So we're not gonna. We soaked up majority of this live stream. We're 52 minutes in. We soaked up majority of this live stream. Talking about Skool, which I'm super thankful for because I've been looking out for that, and that's something we wanted to talk about anyways. But we are gonna look at these charts, but I'm not gonna draw my charts out today on here. We're just gonna look at, structure and start forming some ideas based off of everything. Okay, so let's go ahead and see first, before we get into SPY, let's just start with Bitcoin and crypto. Let's look at the crypto market and see what it's up to, okay? So, all right. So look at here. Remember last time for those of you who may be new, we make these lives every Sunday. So we're live streaming Sundays and we look at these charts every Sunday. Also, for people that may have not known, every Wednesday as well, we're dropping videos as well, looking at these charts, doing midweek breakdowns as well. So just be on the lookout for that, because usually you'll see what we say on Wednesdays and then you'll see how it plays out on Sunday or Sunday to Sunday, and things align, okay? So that's cool to know and see as you start becoming a chart technician, all right? And this is where the money lies at right here. You see where money is. So we're looking at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is trying to break out of this structure. So on Wednesday, I talked about this, okay? Wednesday, what we were talking about on Wednesday's video was, so Bitcoin was right here. Let's go to Wednesday's candle. On Wednesday, we were trading here. And what we talked about was this EMA right here being at this breakout zone. So in order for us to actually get out, we needed to almost break a double hurdle, okay? So not only did price needed to get above this EMA, but it also needed to break this trend line. And we looked back at the beginning of the year, so we know it's not impossible, because in the beginning of the year, we did a triple hurdle. Not only did we break the 8 EMA, but we broke the 21 EMA, and we broke structure. Now, Trey, how did that happen? Why did that happen? Because you know how new year, new me, new affirmations. I'm going to invest this year. I'm going to do this differently. Bitcoin seems like the new thing popping. Money just turned into Bitcoin. And look, we broke out the structure. We came back down, retested those EMAs, was able to break through those. But we touched that 100 EMA on January 14th. Massive sell-off right at 96K. I think we peaked at 97,000. And then we've been on a sell-off ever since. Got back into structure, came all the way back down to 59K. This is all market work, okay? This is all chart work. So we're not nervous. We see what's going on. So we talked about this being a double hurdle. And look, right after we talked about the double hurdle, price actually made its way above. It retested the EMA, broke the EMA, so then we needed a retest. Retest, formed higher highs, kind of came out the structure, but closed in the structure. So now we're going to see if this could be a false retest, or we're going to see how it reacts to break this double hurdle again. If we form a lower low and we close in this zone, then we could probably just continue to see price ride this trend line perhaps down until buyers step in to break above, or we could even come down to this liquidity box where ultimate buyers are staying to buy at 50K. So that's kind of the outlook. Anytime we look at these charts, okay, we're looking for two things. We're looking for bearish sentiment. We're looking for bullish sentiment. Meaning bearish is if price going down. So we're looking to see price come down. So bearish, we're trying to see, will price come down to this range, okay? Bearish, all right? This is bear. Sorry, I'm not really good with drawing with this. Bear. And then bullish is going up. Anything coming in the up direction, okay? This is bull. So anytime we're in the markets and we're looking at charts, we want to see a bearish sentiment and a bullish sentiment. So we make a thesis based on if price could go up. How could this be bullish? Okay, it could be bullish if price jumps this EMA and breaks this structure. We could potentially run up to this 21 EMA at 73K. That's hovering right under this next liquidity. We could break into there. We could potentially see what happens at this liquidity zones. Bearish is like, okay, if we don't break this structure, we could continue to get smacked down, ride this trend line down to this liquidity box down here where buyers are sitting. And I guarantee if it wicks down here, mass money will buy here. And guess what that makes happen? It makes price go up. Okay, so that's what we'll be looking for. And that's what we always are watching out for when we're looking at these charts. Like, I always want to tell people all the time, do not overcomplicate the charts, okay? Because that's something I did. I used to come load up the charts. I ain't know what the heck was going on. All right, let's look at an empty chart. Like, let's say this is my first time coming to the charts. This don't make, oh, I guess I've been on Apple before. Okay. What chart I don't look at Microsoft. And Microsoft's a great stock, by the way. I just don't do chart work on it. Let's say I'm on Microsoft, okay, and these EMAs, let's turn these off because these are something these charts don't even come with this. You looking at this, you don't know what's going on, okay? You just see a whole bunch of candlesticks like, wait, what the heck? Brain hurting, you don't see what's going on, okay? And I understand that. I've been there. I've done that. But now I understand this. I could look at this and I see exactly what's going on, okay? So let's look at this from a beginner point of view. Know We ain't gonna have no EMAs on, no lines, nothing. Let's even turn on volume real quick. Let's just look straight at raw charts, okay? So I don't know how we got here, but I'm led to go here. So we going straight off raw charts. Boom. The first thing I notice is this gap right here. Boom, a gap. Trade, what's a gap? It means price did not trade here. Anytime you see a gap where price has not traded here, all right, so that means one close, we closed down here, and the next day they opened up. So we closed down here at 395, and the very next day, the stock opened at 431. You feel me? That's a big gap. So anytime a gap like that happens, price gonna come back and retest it. Now look, we gapped that up in April 2025. Guess what? All the way from April 2025 till now, we're just now in February refilling that gap. That's the first thing that hit my mind. Anytime you see a gap, price will always come down to retest it. Sometimes it's in a week. Sometimes it's in a month. Sometimes it's almost in a year. You see what I'm saying? But price will come back to retest that gap every time. All right, cool, Trey. I understand that. So what else are you seeing? Boom. I'm seeing a nice little liquidity zone right here, okay? So what happens if you see we at this gap? Where can we potentially see price come down to? All right, cool. So I see this wick right here. This means buyer stepped in here. So I'm going to come from there to that candle. I'm going to mark this out. What I like to do, though, is keep all of these buy zones green. I do it backwards because that's how we're supposed to look at it. When price is down, it's green, meaning buy. When price is up, it's red, meaning sell. Okay, cool, Trey. How you know what that means? Because that's the system that they don't teach us. That's what the rich think. So now we look, where are sell zones? Okay, cool. I'm seeing this all-time high on Microsoft. From what it looks like, it could be an all-time high. I could do more chart work and we could see, like, is that an all-time high or is that just, okay, cool, look. We go out all the way to the data. That's the all-time high. The highest it's ever been to. Anytime there's an all-time high, we'll come back and retest all-time highs, but people take profits. So, boom. We going to mark it from this candle, from that wick of this candle here to there, and we going to call this a red box. Boom. And we're going to call that take profit zone. Why? Because sellers stepped in. Meaning, when price got up into this 500, 560 range, all-time highs, people sold, took their profit. So if they bought down here on this dip and they seen this gap up and they seen this all-time high, they were like, all right, cool, let me get out of there. And they sold and it came back down. Buyer stepped in and it sold. So guess what this means right here? Again, this is where that sell-off ended at. So right here, I'm going to call this another little take profit zone. So if I want to buy here, this is a good spot to buy Microsoft, okay? If Microsoft loses this box, I'll be waiting for it. I'm not going to be waiting for it because I technically don't invest into Microsoft just because I don't. But this is how we look at the charts. So if Microsoft comes down to this zone right here, I'm going to buy Microsoft at this low zone, boom, and then step in, and I know where I could take price to. Okay, I know price going to come back here. I know price going to come back here, and ultimately, price will come back to retest all-time highs. This is a $200 move. Microsoft down here will be worth $340 to $356. At its all-time high is worth $545 to $559. If you buy contracts on that, massive gains. If you own shares of that, massive gains. So Trey, why don't you get into it? Because me personally, I like to stick to my niche. My niche don't fail me. What I do in the markets is what I do in the markets. So Trey, what do you do in the markets? I'm actually glad y'all asked that. Let me show y'all what I like to do in the markets. This is where I'm at in the markets. Since I'm more crypto oriented, I already invest straight crypto. Okay, so most of my actual checks when I dollar cost average goes into only crypto. I don't even put money into my stock portfolio. The only money in my portfolio comes from profits. So I rely on trading to have more money in the stock market. Right now in this common era, okay, in this stage of my life. All right, this is where I'm at. So we're looking at a stock. So what stock are you watching, Trey? I'm watching MicroStrategy. What's MicroStrategy, you may ask? MicroStrategy is the largest public company holding a Bitcoin. You should have already knew I was going to go back to crypto, Bitcoin. Of course, because since I'm so strongly convinced and convicted on what Bitcoin is going to turn into and the future of the crypto market as a whole, I want my stock portfolio to align with that. Because when crypto takes off, I also don't only want to make money in the crypto market, I want to make money in the stock market. This is my way of thinking. You don't have to think like this. This ain't financial advice. This is me telling you what I think. And if you are like-minded, welcome to the journey. Let's talk about it. No cap. But let's look at this. So everything we just applied to Microsoft, we're going to apply here to MicroStrategy. So remember, Microsoft, all right, MSFT. What up, Joe? Professor Joe. That's what I was just talking about earlier. That Joe, shout out to you, my brother. But let's see. Everything we just marked out here on this chart, okay, is the same thing you do for any chart. So let's go back to my chart, MicroStrategy, okay? I love MicroStrategy. Why? Because I look at their all-time high and I get to licking my chops. MicroStrategy, the largest holder of Bitcoin. They got 711,000 tokens worth up to more than like $70 billion worth of Bitcoin. My bad, I'm misspeaking, but I'm getting excited even talking about MicroStrategy right now. I look at their charts and I see they all the way up at all-time highs at 543 when Bitcoin was running up because Trump got inaugurated and he was saying how he gonna be pro-crypto. So they ran up to 543 and sellers stepped in, drove price all the way down here to 243. Then we ran right back up to this little take profit zone of 425, came back down to 361 and ran up one more time to 400. And since then, since crypto week, this was the run up. So from crypto week in July, we ran up from 378 to 456, and we've been in the same sell-off that Bitcoin has been in. You see where I'm going with that? It correlates with Bitcoin's chart. So, me having the conviction I'm having on Bitcoin, my boy Professor Jay Brooks, Joe having the conviction he has on Bitcoin. People that have conviction on Bitcoin understand Bitcoin. So if I understand Bitcoin's going to be worth $1 million one day, and if Bitcoin was at an all-time high of 100K back in this era, and MicroStrategy was at 543 a share, and now Bitcoin's down to 60K, and MicroStrategy's worth $133. What do I think MicroStrategy gonna be at when Bitcoin at $1 million? I think MicroStrategy is gonna be worth $1,000. So that all brings me back to my main point of even coming here. What do you look for trade on these charts? All right, cool. So every day I trade in SPY. And we know SPY because I talk about SPY all the time. Anytime I make profit, if you do your research, you know where Bitcoin is heading long term. That is facts. If you do your research, you know where Bitcoin is heading long term. No cap, literally. And the funny thing about that, that's really anything you get involved in. Now, Bitcoin is the anomaly. Bitcoin is the cycle for that wealth transfer. Okay, but even if you know about Apple before Apple, and you had that conviction, and you've done research on Apple, you did research on MicroStrategy, you could have been making money. Microsoft, you could have made money from the jump if you've seen the vision long term. Because I know I got some people in here that was around for that early internet stage. But if you've seen that from the jump, from then you was like, okay, this could actually turn into something fruition. Let me do some more research, and you grew conviction over time. Then you are holding long term because you know where it's going long term. But if you don't understand it, of course you're not going to invest. So the days is down, of course you're going to get shooken out. That's what the rich prays on. They pray that you don't understand so that you could be the reason why price comes down. So what I look at for MicroStrategy, any day I'm in profit on trading, whether I make 200, whether I make 1K, whether I make 500, maybe I make 120, I'm coming to buy shares, okay? I'm buying shares. I don't care. I don't care what price at right now. Because look at this. The buy zone for me is at $200. Like, we are at straight buy zone. So I originally first started buying literally like in December around this 160 range. Ever since then, it's been coming down. Boom, boom, boom. Came down. Guess what I did? Bought more. Came down. Came up. Bought more. Came down. Bought more. And then it came down to this 100 range. And I already had this marked out, ready. So remember how we just did that Microsoft Chartwork? Boom. I already had this zone marked out because I already seen in 2024 before that run up that price was bouncing off here. So I'm like, this is where buyers like to step in. Boom. So price came back here. I was already that day. Luckily that day, thanks to the Lord, I had made some money that day. So guess what I did that day? Bought some shares. And let me tell you what happened the very next day. I even posted this on my Instagram. I said, buy the dip. This thing came down to 104. The very next day, it ran up to 134. Like, that's how fast it happened. And why did it run up to 134? Because Bitcoin literally went from 60,000 to 70,000 that day. So this stock ran up. So like I said, when Bitcoin hit 100K, we looking at retesting structure. So if I could keep buying as many shares down here as I possibly can, I could potentially take that all the way up with Bitcoin, alongside with Bitcoin that I have, alongside with altcoins that's also in the crypto market that I have, that will also run up at that time because mass adoption will happen, utility will happen. I have portfolio alignment. That's what that's called, portfolio alignment. So I have strong conviction right now in crypto. I'm all in. I'm all in. So me telling y'all about crypto ain't me just telling y'all and me not being a man of my word. I'm strongly convicted. When I was just talking about earlier, when I showed Joe, I know you remember this. Tell me if I'm lying, I'm flying. Remember we was at Lolo's, I showed you my Charles Schwab and I had some money and you introduced me in the ETFs like in 2022, 2021-ish. I had that portfolio. I had a Robinhood account later on. I took everything out of those accounts and I put them in crypto because that's how strongly convicted I was. Then I got some more money in my Charles Schwab from my work. So then I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to start investing that. And I've been compounding my investments and I've been parking profits. And now I'm getting profitable in trading. I'm profitable in trading. I'm in a spot in trading in my stock portfolio where I could park profits every day and I could still be profitable to where I don't have to go take no money out of my MicroStrategy shares. I could keep putting money there and I could keep trading every day, living on. And I'm in a spot where crypto's down right now. So I'm down some bread. But I'm so strong-minded on my conviction based off research and based on my alignment with the Lord and my conviction in all of this that I could keep buying the dip even more and more and more, knowing in 3 years from now, life-changing results wait on the other end. This ain't just like this is me going out on a whim. This is me actually doing research, me praying, and me being lined up. Yo, my boy Ray. Shout out my boy Ray Nail. Boy, how you doing? Met him in New Orleans on my family reunion randomly. Super randomly. Back when I was in the world, I came across, bro. I was like, he was wearing a Mike Tyson shirt. I'm like, my boy, I mess with you. I mess with the shirt. Flicked up randomly. Got his IG, and look, now we both on the same thing. We both on the same thing. Now he's investing. Now I'm investing. Now I'm a man of God. Now he's a man of God. Boom. That's how life works. It's a beautiful thing. Yup, you was on it. See, that same story I just told earlier. Joe wasn't even here yet. That's really how it went. You get what I'm saying? That's literally how it went. And like I said, Joe was the inspiration to TraderBoyz. No cap. When it was us three, me, him, and Andre. He was the inspiration because, like I told y'all, when I was down to my lowest, I would call Joe like, bruh, I can't do this. And he'd be like, bro, you going through that now? I remember when I was there and hearing that from somebody I know, a trusted voice, that changed the game for me. That kept me in the game. So now that's why TraderBoyz is what it is today. All right. That kept me in the game. So as we look at MicroStrategy and we look at any charts, that is just what we looking for, man. We looking for buy zones. Like I was saying, I don't want us to overcomplicate. So let me go back to Microsoft. All these micros is getting me tongue twisted today. You've been on it, bro. Salute for taking your own initiative and building your own conviction. Shout out to you, my brother. Salute to you too. Appreciate you, bros. You already know the plans we got going down the future in the investing realm and where we trying to turn our financial situations into long term. I always gonna love you, my brother. Always. But now let's look at this real quick. I don't want people to overcomplicate the charts, okay? The chart is for one basic thing, for you to see where people are buying at and where people are selling at. Without the charts, you're just buying blindly, which isn't bad because let's say, for instance, you're buying an ETF. All right, you get your checks, you buy ETF, every check you dollar cost averaging. That's better than nothing. So that means you buy when it's low, you buy when it's high, you buy when it's in the middle. The same thing I'm doing with MicroStrategy when I get my trying to think. When I get my profit on the trades. I'm just buying dollar cost averaging. Boom, boom, boom. I don't really care what price is at. Of course, when I get to MicroStrategy on the day, I look at the 15-minute chart, I look at the 5-minute chart. I'm trying to buy it at the lowest price in that moment. But I don't look at it long term like, oh, it's up $5 from yesterday. So what? If it's down tomorrow, I'm gonna buy tomorrow. It's crazy conviction, man. It's crazy conviction. That's neither here nor there. But, if you're not looking at the charts and you're buying an ETF and you just dollar cost averaging, that's not bad because ETFs is the safest investment you can really make. The thing about that safe investment is you got to be willing to have time. Like, no cap. You got to have time. And a lot of people don't even want to invest into Bitcoin because it ain't happening fast enough. So why would you want to invest into the ETF? ETFs are slow for sure movers. That's why when you get a 401k, your job puts you onto that into the ETFs. They just throw you into SPY or throw you into VU or VONG or Vanguard, any VTI, any of those. They throw you into there and tell you can't touch it till you're 65. Why? Because they know if you 20 now and you hold till 65, they know you're going to get gains. They're 100% sure that it's going to be gains. They know it's not going to be no 40-year slump of an ETF. Because the thing about an ETF, if they have bad performing stocks, if Vanguard ETF has bad performing stocks in it, they're going to replace it. So you're going to always have your best shares in there. So they be like, okay, cool, this is long term. They're not going to give you nothing that you could have short term. You know what I mean? They're going to give you they're not going to give you no high risk plays basically. They're going to give you the safety net, which is ETFs. And there's nothing wrong with ETFs. ETFs is where everybody should start at. ETFs is where I started at. Remember when I was telling y'all about my boy Joe? He showed me VU. He showed me VONG. Okay? And that's what I was in. Then I ain't touch it and I ain't know nothing else until I started learning more. Until I started seeing price go up, price come down. I'm like, all right, cool. I started to learn more. So now I'm coming with more questions. Now I'm like, okay, how do I sell? How do I get out of this position to buy this? Because I'm interested in this. You know what I mean? ETFs is your first step into the gateway. All right? Into investing, into stocks because it's safe. Just like for crypto, stablecoins should be the first ever thing you buy. Why should stablecoins be the first thing you ever buy? Because it ain't nothing moving. It ain't no volatility. It's just digital dollars. So now once you understand that, you start putting money in stablecoins, loading up, just like in a stock market, buying power, that's stablecoins. Buy stablecoins, and now you're like, oh, okay, I have money. I'm in the realm. I'm in the crypto market. You grow confidence. You grow conviction. Now from your stablecoins, you go buy Bitcoin. You go buy CBCN. You go buy XRP. You go buy whatever you do research on as well and learn. But like ETFs should be your first step into the stock market. A stable coin should be your first introduction into crypto. Because if I just throw you into crypto and I tell you, yeah, buy XRP, but you don't know nothing about XRP, you don't understand volatility, you don't know how to look at a chart, you don't understand risk and reward, thanks to you, I now have ETFs. Yes, ma'am. All glory be to God. I'm glad. That's Danny right there. I'm super glad she's got into the stock realm as well because that's family. That's literally family. Remember on the TraderBoyz Skool, we were just talking about breaking generational curses. That's family right there. So that hits much more stronger, okay? And she's in ETFs. That's the safest investment. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, just looking at things long term is the way to go. So even when you get set up with your retirement account, that's a long-term mindset. Why wouldn't you have a long-term mindset once you get involved? Why you think you're going to get rich tomorrow? We have to break that idea of thinking that. Because once you start thinking that, you're pretty much stuck into the flow and you're stuck into the generational population of the way of thinking of investing, okay? And when I say gen pop, as it will be referred to in the imprisonment system, general population is when mostly everyone is there. That's called gen pop. So in the market, gen pop is retailers. We're all gen pop that might understand, don't have a lot of capital, don't have much. The smart money has billions. They understand, they control, they trick you. They control the media, they control the charts, they control the assets, the money, okay? So that's what it is. We have to break out of, and it's not a bad thing. It's a mindset. The biggest thing is the mindset switch. Once you could turn your mindset from gen pop, retailers, everyday people, to smart money, institutions, the controllers, you could think like a controller with only $5K, with only $10K, with only $100. Understanding is your biggest tool. Understanding is the biggest tool. If you don't understand, you're cooked. You could have a lot of money. You could have $1 million ready to invest, but you don't understand. Guess what? The day you see your $1 million turn into $850K because you went all in on Tesla and Elon Musk just said he don't mess with Trump, so now there's a sell-off. Boy, oh boy, your first drawdown, you ain't gonna know what to do. No cap. It don't matter how much money you have. It matters the knowledge you have. Definitely the mindset switch. For sure, my brother, the mindset switch helps so much because it's all in that. The capital don't matter. Okay, you can start investing with $50, $100, with $1 million. But if you don't have that mindset switch, if you a millionaire thinking like a retailer that don't understand, you know greater than the retailer that understands like smart money that only got $10K. he'll be able to catch you because you don't understand. You think just because you got money, you could throw money in there and boom. Unless you just throw $1 million and never look, and then you investing in something like Tesla, and Tesla's gonna go up. Tesla's is super volatile, so Tesla could come down $20 in one day and have some great earnings, and they'll be up $50 the next. But if you don't know that, you'll see $1 million go to $800K, and I guarantee you're gonna want to sell. Now you just locked in a $200,000 loss, a $200,000 loss, which could be a potential tax claim. Okay, that's realized loss. Okay, so if you could document a realized loss like that, you know, you can use that for your taxes. I mean, and we ain't gonna get into taxes. It is tax season, but you know, we ain't even gonna talk about that right now. I mean, that's not what we're into right now. So yeah, definitely the mindset switch. I agree with you, my brother. It's such a big pillar into understanding investing and getting into that, you know, that comfortability of investing for sure. So yeah, I wanted to bring us to Microsoft so randomly. And the crazy thing is, Microsoft chart looks amazing right now. Like, it's in a buy zone. It's filling the gap that was formed in April. This might be a sign for me to buy. Get a little swing in there. You know what I mean? Buy a little contract out for about 3 months. You know, with a little good in the money strike price. So like it's at 401. Buy like a little $3.99 strike price. Boom. Take him up for 3 months. See where he can go to. If he go to 500, shoot. Because earlier in January, this is just a bad earnings. Literally at the end of January, it was at 480. It's down to 4 flat. You know, it lose its range. I could potentially play shorts, like just like that, man. I'm gonna keep these charts marked, and we gonna see how this. I'm gonna keep my eye on Microsoft. I see you. All right. But yeah, I wanted to come to Microsoft without indicators, without anything, just to show you like that raw thought process of the stock market and of charts, because I don't want people to see these charts and get scared and get nervous and think it's too much for you, because it's not. You're just trying to see where people are buying and where people are selling, and you make your investment based on that as well. All right. And the thing about trading is you're just doing that at a higher scale. You're doing that in real time. Okay, so you don't need a $30 move in the stock market. You don't need a $30 move to make thousands of dollars. You can make money off of a dollar move if you got 10 contracts. If SPY goes from 684 to 685, and you caught it at that 684 and you bought 20 contracts, you already made about 2K. Get up out of there. You good. You don't need to be waiting all day, okay? That's the thing about day trading, so that's where that comes into play. And we're going to touch SPY real quick, and we'll get out of here. And I got to do my charts today. I may do them tomorrow because it's President's Day tomorrow. Like Monday, I don't really want to have my charts up, and I can't trade Monday. I can't wait till crypto's a normality. Then we ain't got to worry about President's Day shutting down the motion of the markets, man. Like, crypto going to be open at least, so at least I could be able to see what Bitcoin talking about, but golly. All right, so we on the day chart for SPY. And look at this, bada bing, bada boom. We are getting so close to this 100 EMA. Remember, I talked about this 100 EMA on Wednesdays and Sundays. We talk about these stuffs, okay? We talk about these things, and you see this 100 EMA. So Trey, what's EMAs? Let's just start there, all right? EMA is an exponential moving average. So it shows us, the 100 shows us the moving average of the last 100 candles, okay? So we're seeing how the flow of this. So if price somehow shoots below this will go down too. But if price keeps trading above it, it'll slowly ride until price gets there. So that's what the 100 EMA is. It kind of shows you the steadiness of the market. It's the structure of the chart. That's why I love the 100 EMA. Some people look at the 200 EMA, same thing, just longer average. I do the 100 EMA. Keep putting them on game. Time for me to get my analysis started too. Got to get ready for London session. Yep. All right, bro. Professor J Brooks, shout out to you, my brother, man. I'm super glad to see you doing the content, my guy. Peace and love, my guy. Yes, sir. Peace and love. Glad to see you back in the content, bros. Keep doing it, man. We gonna make this to the top for sure. But yeah, so we back into the SPY chart analysis real quick. The 100 EMA is just showing us the structure, okay? So then we have two other EMAs that is more emotional. So the 8 EMA, we see right here, boom. That's my yellow line, okay? So if I click it, you can see the dots in it. That's a yellow line. The 8 EMA is more of a quicker average of where like emotions is. So it shows you like how people are trading in real time in a sense, okay? That's why I really like that. And that's exactly why I really like that. And the 21 EMA right here, this purple one, and again, some people like to use 13. I used to actually use the 20, but not, and then I got comfortable with the 21. Now, It's more of the average between the two. Okay, so sometimes when price breaks the 8 EMA and it's headed to the 100 EMA or vice versa, that 21 EMA is in between, meaning price gonna have to test there too. People might sell there. So you gotta have that. You gotta have that in between, because then if I'm wondering, like right here, you see price was right here. If I see price come below this 8 EMA and I'm thinking that, oh yeah, price is coming to the 100 EMA because I only got those two, I would have missed this 21 EMA being that retest, and look, it shot back up and started trading back above the 8 EMA. So you just kind of use these indicators to kind of help you understand, like, okay, buyers and sellers might trade here based on these EMAs. So we're looking at the day chart EMA, so the 100 EMA is structured. This is one of the heaviest ones. Anytime it touched this, you see how it works. Look, it was waiting to touch this. Bing, smack that thing. We was in a quick run-up. We ain't touched it since. So now we waiting on the retest. The crazy things about retest is, so it's at 675. Price right now is at 681. That's a $6 move down there to the downside that you could potentially make thousands of dollars on if you know that, and if you think that it's gonna touch that EMA, right? Which I have high conviction that it will. I'm pretty sure we'll see an EMA retest. We're getting closer. Look, we were super close here. When it was at 673, we got down here to 675. While it's at 675, we load here at 677. Looks like we're gearing up to retest it. So what do we watch for when it retests? What we watch for when it retests to see, how does he react? Does it touch it and spark up and buyers step in? That means buyers are waiting right here for price to hit 675 to buy and buy massive shares, bringing price up, which I think that will happen because we've been trading right here so long. Let's look. So we're gonna mark out a box zone right here. All right, these are called liquidity boxes. So we're gonna go from this candle to this all-time high. Okay, and we're gonna mark this out because why are we marking this out? Because price keeps coming right here. Let's keep it come down to these candles right here. Every time we wick here, we can't break it, meaning we can't make new all-time highs. What level is this though? Why is that the case, Trey? Look at this. This is $700 right here. Y'all see that? We are at $700. So breaking this means a $700 SPY. This is a heavy psychological range. You don't just cross over a whole 100 and you think it's all willy-nilly, like it's gonna happen easy. No, look at all these retests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, can't escape the 6 sevens. But you see all those times where we got to where we were getting to, and then we fall down. We get here, we fall back down. We're right here at 695. We come back down to 670. We finally get to 698. No, this is time it's gonna happen. We come back down to 675. Nah, this time for sure, 697. We come back down to 677 instead. When that happens, it leads me to think like, okay, buyers are not ready to really break through this level. They want to make sure structure ain't weak, meaning we don't lose this 100 EMA. So we tap this, then we could finally buy here. Enough buyer pressure will break us through the upside to that $700 stock. That $700 EMA, okay? So throughout all that time, that's why I love trading SPY, because you see the volatility. You see like, oh my gosh, all these moves. This is puts. Back to a call, back to a put. You can make so much money in this, doing all this, okay? So it's pretty cool to me. I really mess with it. I ain't gonna lie, I really mess with it. So then, now, let's go ahead to our 4-hour chart. And the same thing, like we're just kind of looking. Oops, got my rectangle function on still. So we're going to keep those all-time highs up there because 1,400, you know what I mean? Let's keep on looking at that. I mean, 700, we're going to keep looking at that. And then, so we got this right here. So the same thing. Notice that the EMAs are different on here. Why? Because now it's showing you the moving average of the 4-hour candle. So look, this is where you do cross confluence. So you look at these charts right here. So we'll go to the day chart right here, right? And we'll see that this 675 is the 100 EMA. So like something that I would like to do right there, boom, mark that right there, so that I can remember where everything is. So I'll just cut that 100 EMA day chart, right? Just so when I go do my cross confluence, I'm like, all right, cool, I can remember everything. Come to the 4-hour, look, we retesting right now. So we broke through on Thursday. That massive sell-off. Remember, that was when I think Thursday was when them job reports that came out, right? So when the job reports that came out, that from Wednesday to Thursday, price I went up. Boo! People thought it was gonna go crazy. Nope. Boom. Break down. We break down. We come down. Okay, cool. Now we get close to that EMA, but we don't. But when we break down, we break under not only the 8 EMA on the 4-hour, not only the 21 EMA on the 4-hour. the 100 EMA as well. That's a sign right there that, okay, we might have to come back and retest this before we even touch this EMA. So boom, we break, we form a lower low, we form another lower low, thinking, and people think we're gonna touch this EMA, but nope, buyers step in right before that EMA, push price right back up to these EMAs, to the 100 EMA, to the 8 EMA, and guess what? A handoff right there. Remember, how do we know this is a handoff? Let's zoom in and make this type. We talk about handoffs all the time here on TraderBoyz. You see how close these two like boxes of these candles are? Boom. Buyers momentum switch it. So buyers was up one, and they handed the momentum to the sellers. And guess what? We had a massive sell-off right here at this. And we closed down here at 681. So coming into this week on Tuesday, we're going to be watching to see, do we form another lower low? If we form another lower low, we could potentially come tap this EMA and run it up. If we form another high and we could break these EMAs, we could potentially see a retest of these EMAs and start coming back up to these other levels, okay? So then, boom, what else are we going to look at? Let's look at 1 hour chart. Let's see what the 1 hour chart's doing. So 1 hour, when we had that massive sell-off that Thursday morning, we already are under the EMAs. We sold under the 100 EMA. We sold under the EMA. We retested on the 1 hour chart. Couldn't get it. Broke above. Look, so look. We wicked. Higher high. Break above this 8 EMA. This is the retest candle. It's a doji. A doji is big wicks, small body. That means an indecision candle. So there's no true winners here. Buyers or sellers. That's a weak retest. So this was a signal that it's going to be a sell-off. Guess what happened? We sold off. Boom. And in that last hour of the day, buyers sort of stepped in. This could be a nice little clue that on Tuesdays, buyers might step back in overnight, driving price up to retest the EMAs on this 4 hour chart. Okay? And I know I'm going fast. If I need to slow down, let me know. I hope somebody's digesting this though, okay? Because this is such great chart work right here. This is cross confluence right now, okay? I don't look at the 2 hours. I look at, for my long term, I look at 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. And then intraday, as I'm trading, I look at 15 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute, 1 minute. 1 minute, 3 minute is more for getting in the trade itself, actually like seeing structure in that moment and getting the best price in my trade. 15 minutes is more of my higher time frame on the actual day itself. Okay. 5 minute is more of my confirmation time frame, meaning on the 5 minute chart, I like to make sure I see a good retest and I seen a break that aligns with not only the 5 minute, but the 3 minute and the 1 minute. And then if it aligns on the 5 minute and I see on the 15 minute, if I'm playing shorts, it's still a lower low. Or if I'm playing longs, I see a higher high plus retest all across the board. That's when I'll come back down to the 1 minute, buy on a retest of an EMA, enter my trade. That's really like game right there, bro. So much game, so much knowledge. Let's get it done. Doing a great job breaking it down. Appreciate you, brother. I'm glad you understanding this, man. I'm glad you understanding this for sure. But yeah, so we get that 1 hour. And then like you see 15 minutes, same thing. Like look out at 15 minutes. Like this is the play that you catch. Remember I said if it's lower lows, I catch this, boom. This is what we catch right here. This is the trade. This was Wednesday. I caught this one right here. Boom. I caught this trade right here. I caught this on Thursday too. But on Friday, look right here. I got in late. On Friday, let me see. I played the calls, right? And I got caught on this red candle right here. Got stopped out. $34. So I thought my revenge trade that I talked about, I thought it was going to make lower lows. Because it did make a lower low. So I got in here on some puts and it reversed on me. And I ended up getting cooked, right? I got cooked. It ran up, stopped out, and lost 340. And it ran all the way up. But it's the thing here. If I would have stayed in my call from the jump with conviction and trust in the Lord and went to pray in that moment and it's been like, man, I know this was the right move, I wouldn't have let this red candle shake me out. This red candle here was the candle that made me lose 340 on Friday. Again, I'm still profitable on the week. I'm not complaining. I don't like to talk about profits because I don't want people to get caught up in the money. But when it comes to losses, this is something that only I can learn from, but other people can too. Look at this. I was in calls. I was up. And it came down. I took profit here on some contracts. It came down. Lost it. Lost $34. It was a good risk management. You know, it was a $34 trade. I shouldn't have been angry. But I was angry. My emotions got the best of me. So I was like, it's going down. I played this wick and went down. Yeah, now I'm back in profit. Yoop! Run right up. And I wasn't patient enough to hold on to here because I was already down 340. I had a stop loss at that time. It was cooked. Okay? But these are the moves that we want to catch right here. We don't want to trade this volatility in the middle. We want to catch these big moves. We want to catch the big move. Boom. Want to catch that one. Boom. I caught this one, but I got shook out. Okay, because these prior days, my moves was happening easy, and that's really what it was. And all these charts show the same thing, just in time frames. Look at that, 5 minute, boom. Look how many red candles that is. You play that, boy, oh boy, that's some great bread. Okay, same thing here, boy, oh boy. No, and then we just look at all that stuff, and that's what we do. So we already got our thesis for what we're looking for from SPY. I like to trade SPY because I love SPY. I understand SPY. I call SPY Spylecia. I know how it works. Oops, that's an RSI. I know how SPY likes to. I know how SPY likes to work. I know what it likes to do. Why isn't this erasing? There you go. I know what SPY likes to do. So with that all being said, I like to only stick to my niche. Okay. Some people like to trade QQQ, which is very similar to SPY. It moves the same actually. All right. I'm guess I'm not erasing because my eraser don't want to work. But SPY is just like NQQ is like QQQ. They're the same thing. They're both ETFs. They both kind of move the same. Some people like to trade Nvidia. Some people like to trade Apple. Some people like to trade AMD. I like to trade SPY. Now that doesn't mean just because I like to trade SPY, you have to like to trade SPY. But that's just like the operations that I kind of I like to base the structure of my videos off of, because SPY, not only is it good to trade for me because the volatility in between and I understand how the chart moves, but it's a representation of the whole top 500 companies in the stock market. The S&P 500. SPY is the ETF for the S&P 500. You see right here? S&P 500 ETF Trust. So it's showing us, if you like to trade Apple, you like to trade Tesla, that impacts SPY. All that volatility and all your big favorite companies is what makes SPY move. So I really like that when I look at SPY, and like that's just me. People like to trade futures. My boy Joe, you see he got to get into the London session. He does, he does forex trading, some foreign exchanges. He trade currency. I'm not knocking that. Joe is profitable. Joe is doing great things. People that trade forex, people that trade Tesla, people that trade futures. There's money to be made anywhere. You could get it by any means. Me saying I trade SPY does not mean SPY is the only answer. And I just wanted to clear that up too. I don't know why I felt led to go there. All right. That's neither here nor there though. So we looked at our charts, we looked at SPY, we looked at Tesla, all right, and we talked about the Skool. So with all that being said, we're going to be actually wrapping this one up here. We actually had a pretty good showing in viewers as I'm looking for the live. I appreciate everybody that's still here right now. And of course, as always, if you're watching this after the fact, I appreciate you too, because you not only didn't join the live, but you decided to do the investing research afterwards. And I appreciate you, and that's why I decided to do lives on YouTube instead of Twitch, because they'll live on forever, and you don't have to be here in the moment to catch yours revelation, your breakthrough, your understanding. Okay, so with all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and pray us out of this live. Before I do so, make sure you join the Skool. We got the link in the description. We got the link on the Instagram. I'll also be sending the link out to people as well. Make sure you join the Skool. The Skool is gonna be quiet for this first week as we get people in, but after that, you have all these sessions right now to keep you busy during the quiet week, okay? And we'll have some posts on here in the general discussion. But after that, we're going to be rolling out some fun stuff on Skool. I got some things prepared, and the Lord will continue guiding me and, my moderators and admin as well that's in the Skool on making sure we can make this more beneficial for people learning in the future, okay? So make sure you go into the Skool. It's free. It's no charge. Great job. Thank you so much. All glory to God. And make sure also you like, you comment, you subscribe to the YouTube. You send this out to someone that doesn't know about investing or wants to learn about investing. You send this out to someone that may not believe in the Lord yet and wants to find the Lord, or you want them to find the Lord. Okay, make sure you share this with someone, because you never know what words could touch someone's spirit to put that switch into them. Awesome. Thank you so much. All glory to God. So with all that being said, let's go. Let's lock in. All glory to God. All glory to God. Yes, sir, brother. So that being said, I'm going to pray us out of here. And I pray that everyone viewing this, whether it's live right now or whether it's after this video, I pray y'all have a blessed week, okay? So I'm going to lead us in prayer and we're going to get out of here. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. All right. With all that being wrapped up, man, all glory to God. Let's stay locked in this week. Let's learn something new this week. Let's impact someone this week. Let's grow closer in our faith to the Lord this week. And with all that being said, I will see y'all on the video on Wednesday, and I will see y'all on the live stream next Sunday. And if you're in the school, I'll see you in class every day.